Cheers, welcome to my channel. This is a daily tarot oracle reading, Tattle Tales from the Vector. This is a general or collective reading, so just be aware parts may or may not resonate with you. Take what works for you and leave the rest. Hello, Stella. And we are going to begin with the underlying energy at the bottom of the deck. This is a timely reading, so if you are watching this right now, it means it's the perfect time for you. Having said that, if it's been a while since I posted this, what was going on in your life then? That will be possibly significant to what's going on now. All right, we have the underlying energy of the reading is the Four of Swords. Four of Swords energy represents someone who wants to have peace of mind so that they can go inward and meditate and pray to get creative solutions for whatever is the issue in their life at the time. They've hung their minds on the wall, their three minds, the unconscious, subconscious, and conscious mind. The subconscious mind is your thoughts from when you were raised, from about baby to about 6 or 7 years of age. Babies are like sponges. Look how much a baby learns in the first year just by watching. And so during this time, you absorb the energy of the thoughts of the people that are in charge of your care, as well as your environment at a very high level. This is heavily imprinted on you well into adulthood. And when we get triggered, that's the mind we tend to rely on. Unfortunately, it's not that reliable because it's not really how we think, it's how the people that were put in charge of our care when we were a baby and up to about the age of kindergarten, what their thoughts were and how they would handle things. The unconscious mind, most people do accept that you are a human being with a soul. Having said that, from the soul's point of view, you are a soul traveling in a human body, and this is your vehicle to navigate Earth. If the soul's needs are not met, that unconscious mind can become very loud and start fighting with the other minds, basically. So the conscious mind is what you have a handle on. This is what you know because you experienced it, and you have memory of it. When these three minds are able to come together and not be fighting with each other, and you discipline your mind into one mind that is working coherently, then and plug that into your heart, then you are really going to go after your authentic desires, and the mind really supports you. So the way of disciplining the mind is by going inward and meditating, and also praying to God, like for guidance, using your intuition as well as your logic. And so this is about putting the mind to rest here, so that that you can feel your intuition rather than think constantly and overthink. So this stained glass window here represents the energy of peace of mind, peace on earth. The word Pax is on this mind, on this window, and that represents PAX, peace of mind. We have the Ace of Swords. So yes, this is getting the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help you God. There you go. That's if you're looking for the truth right now. Here it's coming. It's a gift from the universe, from the divine, and from like the Most High Himself. If you're there's a situation that you're in and you just can't get your mind to be quiet, this is the answer. Go inward and feel instead of think. Okay, it looks like you're walking away, or someone has walked away from a relationship that has, a lot of effort has been put into it. This is the Eight of Cups. Eight of Cups represents, the cups in tarot represent love. Quite often this is romantic love, but it can be love of your family members, friends, and pets, etc. Or it can even be love of something you want to be or do. But this is showing someone that this could represent like 8 years of effort put into something. It doesn't have to be, but that quite often is the case. And we have someone walking away and saying, I am done, I'm not doing this. So either someone has walked away from you, or you are walking away from someone. And we do have the energy of the full moon and the new moon in the background here. We just had 2 eclipses, one at the end of February, one at the end of March, or at the beginning of March. And these eclipses stay with us for about 6 months. And it's a slow burning energy in the background of our lives, where when we look back, we're like, whoa, did I ever make a lot of changes in the last 6 months? You know, it's one of those things where you don't really notice it because it's like very subtle. If you want to know more about the eclipse energy, I did readings specifically for each of the signs regarding that, because there was a lot of energy at that time astrologically that was having a huge effect on people. It's settling down a little bit now, and about to pick up again soon by the end of the month. So you can go to my playlist, New Moon, Full Moon, and you can find your sign and find what was going on back then. But basically this is saying it's having an effect on your life here, and that's why someone is walking away. We do have the 3 of Cups here. Now this is interesting, because this is looks like it's a celebration, and it is in a way. These people, though, they're not celebrating each other. They may not even know each other that well. They're celebrating what has happened, basically. No one's looking at each other. They're all looking at the cups. And so quite often, if you look over here, we have 5 cups lined up very perfectly here, and then we all of a sudden have 3. And I feel that this is an involvement of this energy here, and it may not be. These people could represent many people behind them. Quite often this represents a couple, and then there's a third party, and that's why someone's walking away. And this energy here could be one of these people is the third party, basically. They're celebrating that this person is walking away, or that you're walking away, one or the other. That's the energy I'm picking up. And we do have a full moon coming up here on April 1st. As I do this reading right now, it'll be posted tomorrow morning, and it will be the 29th. So we will feel the energy of the full moon about 3 days before and after it appears. And this full moon is in the sign of Libra. And Libra energy is all about your significant other. So a lot of my readings in the last week in particular have been about all of the full moon readings that I've done. And I just finished those as well. It's on that same playlist. I have been regarding significant other relationships, which could be about love or sometimes partnerships in business, you know, family, etc. But generally, when this comes up in this order like this, we're talking about a third party involvement in a relationship. And they're celebrating, and this energy, you know, you have to watch out for low-flying witches around the energy of the full moon. So, you know, this is not like a celebration. They're not celebrating you. Let me put it to you that way. Yeah, because they're in competition with you. So this is immature competition. This is the only card in the deck where we have like adolescents fighting, basically, and that's the main theme of it. The wands in tarot represent the element of fire, and this is about taking action and being passionate about it. This is my Mean Girls card. You know, immature competition, narcissistic cheerleaders at a cheerleading competition, and they can see clearly the other team is way better than them, but they want the trophy, and they'll do anything to have the trophy. And if they don't succeed, their mothers will make sure that they do in the background. And so this is the energy of immature competition. And what I mean by that is, as you mature, you start to realize that it doesn't matter if you're in competition, like for a position at work or for someone in your life, you know, or which seems to be the case here. The energy of, you know, a project or just the fame or something. It doesn't matter what it is. You could be at a sporting event and competing against another team. What matters is your performance and your ability to discipline your mind so that you know, if it's a high pressure and like this is the last game and it's the final and you know, everybody wants, you know, everybody's cheering for them to win and your team hasn't won in 20 years, you know, that kind of, and you're a pro football player, let's say it, put it like that. You know that what's important here is that you may have your very best performance. And so this is understanding that and being able to discipline your mind under heavy pressure so that you do a better performance than you did the last time. And if everybody on the team does that, it will take care of itself. And if the other team wins at that point, well, then they deserve to, because then you've all done your best. And so this is the energy, and you can always learn from the competition instead of getting all triggered by it. We have the hangman, and the hangman is representing someone who wants to take action, but they are unsure yet as to how to go about it. So they hang from the tree of knowledge upside down so they can gain a brand new perspective on the situation. And as they gain that knowledge, the aura around their head lights up. And once they have the answer, then they come down from the tree and they implement it. We have the Three of Pentacles. So the Three of Pentacles is saying someone has really noticed, other than the competition here, although it could be the competition as well, that you have mastered your skill set and you're very good at what you do. And so this is showing you in an elevated position that people are like, wow, this person is really like this. In this case, it's a stonemason that is doing beautiful sculpture work on the stonework here. And these people are approaching and they have plans and they want to collaborate for you to do work for them. The important thing to recognize here is that you are in an elevated position represented by you being on the bench here, and a flashlight is being shown on your work. And so you have the power here to make sure you are in line, that you are in charge of your life here. And that the people that you work are in line with what you want to do, not the other way around. This sometimes because this energy of someone who's mastered their skill set and standing out in this way represents a special talent or technique or something that you're doing that that's very valuable. But because it comes easy to you, I'm not saying you don't put your work into it, but you love it and it's not like work to you, you may not realize how valuable it is to other people. And so this energy is rife, like the history is rife with, like this, if you look at the entertainment industry, actors, actresses, musicians, that kind of energy being signed up by people and then being breadcrumbed, and they're the ones that make all the money. And the person who is very good at what they do is working long hours and doing projects that they never wanted to do, that aren't in their creative scope really, but that this is what we're doing. You become a money-making machine for other people, basically. And so this is really important that you recognize this, like pro sports, those are like, if you, this energy is talking about you're at the top here. Scouts are coming to look at you and want you on their team. You might get 5 different scouts, and some might offer more money, but they might be in a location you don't want to live. Or you could be offered a position at work, but they want you to work 60 to 80 hours a week, and you just started a new family and you want to have time with your children. It's that kind of energy. Is this going to align? Because once you sign that contract, this also represents for me secret societies, a stonemason energy here. And you have to understand the secret societies, they have secrets. So when you sign a contract with them, you're signing over your sovereignty. You're saying, okay, I'll do what you want from now on, rather than them hiring you and you do it in your way. And so this can be, they have their rituals, they have their handshakes, they have their way of doing things. They do not care about the individual needs like they do about the group needs, and that's what you're signing up for. So you have to be very careful. A lot of people throughout history, and especially with special talents, end up doing a lot of work for barely anything, while everybody else is getting rich off the back of their work. And then we have here the energy of the this is the Six of Swords, and this is when you decide, hey, it's time for me to go. I want to get out of these troubled waters and I want to move forward on into calmer waters. And so this conveyor represents is taking you to be with God, so that you can meditate and pray and be somewhere calm and get some idea of, okay, how am I going to get through this energy? Now, you may have signed a contract that now you wish you wouldn't have, or they just might be trying to get you to, or you refused it. And so then that's when they start collaborating with each other to make you have to walk away from something or from someone or both. And so this is going off to calmer waters with God, but you have to dig deep, into your fears to be able to get out of these troubled waters. Water in tarot represents like chaos and volatile emotions, mixed emotions. And so this is talking about, also we have an adult and a child here in the boat without any baggage. And so this can represent you healing your inner child. There might be some areas in your subconscious mind that are causing you to make reflexive actions that are causing problems for you. All right, so that's a lot of information for the bottom line, but this is where you're at in the tools. There's a lot of energy here. We have, okay, so this is you going off to calmer shores to face your fears and conquer them. That's what the Strength card represents. The lion here represents the energy of, Stella, your job is to sit and purr and raise the vibration, not to be a pain in the ass and not raise it. She wants me, I fed her, but I don't know what do you want? Okay. Yeah, you be a good girl, okay? So she generally will just lay on my lap and purr. And so we're going to do that now, right? Okay. A cat's purr raises the vibration to a much higher level. And so it's a very healing energy. And she loves to do it. But for some reason right now, she's upset by the noise outside. So oh, that's a good girl. Yeah, you lie down. You're starting to purr now. Lay down. All right, I apologize, but I don't really, like, she's got happy feet now, so we're in good pause. She really does love the reading, so I don't want to hurt her feelings. All right, good girl. Now we're gonna go. Okay, so we have this energy of facing fears, and this is the Strength card. So this is when you dig deep, and this is what this young woman here is digging deep into this lion's mouth to prove to herself, hey, I can face my fears, and then I'll have the infinite potential to be able to move forward in the strongest way possible, and I'll know what to do. And those fears can run deep. It could be from that subconscious mind in your childhood. Now this is saying, yes, you've been working really hard, very focused on making money. The pentacles represent health, wealth, happiness in the third dimensional world. And but like just because you are working hard doesn't necessarily mean you're living the lifestyle that you want. And this one card is the only card where someone is actually working on the pentacle, like literally making money, pounding out the coin here. And so this is someone who's very focused on the money aspect of lifestyle. And are they making money for themselves, or are they making money for other people? That's the question. And sometimes this can even represent counterfeit and forgery and all sorts of things like that, illegal money, because it's making money, that kind of energy. And then we have Wheel of Fortune. It's sitting on here, and that's why, and it's looking at the different perspectives. But now that you've gone here and you've decided, I'm going to go inward and I'm going to find a way out of this situation, the Wheel of Fortune is turning in your favor now. The Wheel of Fortune is actually 3 wheels in one, that it's a synchronicity of the past, the present, and the future coming together and collaborating and conspiring to push your energy forward so you can be on your destined path. And so the Wheel of Fortune represents that your fortune is now changing for the better. And one of these wheels actually has the Hebrew letters of the name of God on it. And this energy is, the name of God is Tetragrammaton, which is a sacred geometric symbol. And in geometria, they give an assessed number value to each letter. And when you take the letters of God and you put them in different combinations, they add up to what's very close to the phi ratio, 1.618. And this is like graduating sizes of boxes that nest within each other, and they are the base of creation for everything that we see in nature. Like for instance, you can think about the golden, what they refer to as the golden spiral, and the golden spiral is like, you can see it in tornadoes, hurricanes, any seashells, that spiraling energy, pineapples, that kind of energy, cones. They all have that perfect order that goes in that cycle. We also have the golden ratio. You can see this in a human being, in our faces. The proportion from the hairline down to the eyebrows, and then from the eyebrows to the bottom of the nose, and the bottom of the nose to the chin. Then like the whole head, the size of the head in proportion to the upper body, in proportion to the lower body. And even the limbs, the upper limbs, lower limbs, and the hands or feet, fingers and toes. They are slightly different within each person, but generally people follow that ratio. And we can also see this in the tree branches, how they form on a tree, and in flowers, how the petals form, and it's everywhere in nature. Once you see it, you realize, wow. Sometimes the world seems so chaotic, but there is a perfect order to everything, which we can see just by how things manifest. You think about even the cells in your body being everything, what a miracle it is for a baby to be born. Babies are born every day, but every baby's a miracle. And so there's a reality check coming in the form of a tower. So the tower can represent, it represents an energy of, like, this is a reality check. And so people have been like not paying attention, or thinking, okay, this is the way, we're getting away with it, or this is the way, hey, look at how things are working out for us. And they don't realize, or they're not paying attention to the fact that in the background, it's not working out for them. So this is the energy, and this is sitting right on the competition here. So this tower, it's going to affect everybody. It's going to affect you. And towers are not fun for anyone generally. When they happen, they tend to happen suddenly and at an inopportune time for everybody. Kind of like Murphy's Law. And this energy is like that. It's like all of a sudden things start to fall apart. But it's not all of a sudden, because the universe has been whispering, hey, you might want to take a look at this. And then you don't. So then the universe gets the frying pan out and whacks you over the head and says, pay attention. But you don't. And then the 2x4 comes out, and you're still refusing to see what is obvious here to the universe. And then bang, your warnings are over. The lightning hits. And what's the odds of lightning hitting? Probably about the same as winning the lottery. So if you've been on your destined path and throughout this energy, then you might win the lottery, or it might seem like you have. But for the people that have been on the outs of that energy, are going to experience karma, boom, and it's going to hit really hard. And this is the energy of when a tower hits. It means that you haven't been paying attention, that you thought you were getting away with whatever you were doing. And we have two people falling out of this tower, and this tower is saying, one of them is like totally shocked, and the other one is like, oh, I was wondering when I should have taken care of that. I kept telling myself take care of it, but I didn't take care of it. It's that kind of energy. So it hits everybody, but it has a different effect depending on what you've been up to in your life. And it can hit 100-fold. Like, it just bang. All of a sudden, it feels like everything is happening at once. And then we have the Hierophant. So the Hierophant is talking about, this is the judgment that comes down once to bring justice in once, okay, this has gone too far. It's throwing the kilter of the universe out, the law and order, the perfect order that we need. And so we have to bring things back to order. And that's when the Hierophant comes in. And this happens first on the spiritual realm. The Hierophant can represent, if you're a religious figure, it would be the religious figures at the top of your religion. So, it could be cardinals and popes and bishops and that kind of energy, gurus, whoever you look up to that runs your church, bringing that justice in. Or it could be if you're more on the spiritual level and you go straight to the source energy, it could be about going inward here and using your intuition and your to be able to meditate and quiet your mind so that you can feel with your heart what is authentically happening here. What happens is then this justice is brought down to the third dimensional level into the courts of law and to the people like that make the rules of the law and that kind of energy. So this can represent judges and lawyers and prosecutors and lawmakers in general. And the Hierophant has his hand in the form of a blessing, and even though it has different consequences for different people, it is a blessing for the planet and for the universe because it's bringing order back into a very disorderly situation. We have, you may have been left out in the cold from this energy. This is not uncommon with the secret society energy. There's gang stalking and different ways of ruining people's reputations, a lot of tactics being used. So, this is representing being left out in the cold. And so if it's snowing, at first the flakes come down and they're really pretty, but then if they start piling up, they can be really heavy and they can actually collapse your roof. So this is talking about we have two people here who have been left out in the cold, and one's barefoot in the snow, and that's not a fun place to be. If you've ever been in the snow barefoot, it's your feet get cold pretty quick. And the energy is also, this person is on crutches and they're also wearing a bell. So in the old days, they didn't have apps. So to isolate people from society that they thought were carrying a plague or had they didn't want to partake in society, they would just make them wear a big bell around their neck. And so when they came into town, everybody would hear it, and then they could run and get out of this person's way, which made it rather difficult for them to have a job or purchase groceries or do any of that. So these two people are collaborating with each other to empower each other as best they can. They're in a very difficult position, but they are walking past this church. The 5 pentacles represent, there's 10 pentacles in the tarot, and this is saying that you don't even have half of what you need between the two people here to be able to live a lifestyle that would be, this is represent homelessness and that, but a lot of times it also represents, if anyone can handle a flake or two, but when a bunch of flakes gather together and decide to pile up on someone, then it can really put them in this position. And then, why am I not surprised? Okay, so the devil comes in here, and the devil is about temptation. And so you see two lovers here, and they're yoked to each other, and they're chained to Saturn's box, and this is representing an energy. You look at, the devil is crouched in between them here, and this is representing basic instinct, like animal instinct, and saying that basically these two people are not in love, they're lusting after each other. And so this energy is talking about temptation, giving into temptation, trying to take from others what belongs to them, stepping into other people's relationships, just that kind of energy in general. So when the devil comes in, I always cover him with the next card up, because this is very manipulative energy. You're not going to get the truth from this energy. And so the devil is someone that is not real. These are tarot cards here, and this is an archetype basically. So, but this is someone who lived, and you can the word of the devil backwards is lived, as in used to. And now they have to, so the devil has to get minions to go in and do the dirty work for him. So who does he send in? What is it about? And does God step in and cover it? So we have justice coming in. So, okay, so whatever has happened here with this devil, whatever energy has been put into this, the people involved, there's justice now coming in from the Hierophant from above. And so this is representing the thin veil between the spiritual realm and the physical, and this now coming down. This person is sitting on the throne here and representing justice and wielding the sword of justice. So the sword of justice is a two-edged sword. So the justice comes in. It's, you know, when the justice comes in, it's like this reality check from the tower. Some people are going to benefit from it, and some people are going to have to pay their dues, basically. And so this is, she has her right foot forward here. So this is representing an energy of ready to move the second that she's given permission from the Hierophant. The karma comes in. Now, a lot of people do feel that karma is about punishment, but karma is actually just cause and effect of your actions or your inactions. And so you could have direct karma, that you directly did something and caused the karma for yourself. Or you could have indirect karma, which would be like your ancestors and even sometimes your descendants and their actions or inactions, and you having to pay the price for them. This energy can be about associates, people like you work with, friendships, other members of the family, that kind of energy. And then we also have the karmic spaces, which human beings fall into very, very easily. We all do. No one, you know, like it's not easy out there. So this is the energy coming in, and we have here the karma being distributed. So this card is talking about that breadcrumbing energy. Some people, this card can represent that you've been breadcrumbed. And who is it on? It's on all of this energy here. The truth is now coming out, though. The Wheel of Fortune is turning, and this is what's happening. So this card represents someone about the give and take in life. And this person is receiving coins because he recognizes that they would use them and would value them and need them right now to be able to move forward. This person has the scales of justice above his head. He has already got something in his pocket here. So he doesn't need this person's money. He just doesn't want to have to go to work himself. So he's willing to take it for himself, what belongs to others. And so this is talking about how much are you willing to invest of yourself, your time, your money, your energy into others, and who are those people, and what is your anticipated return? Is this a fair investment of your energy, or is this an unfair representation? And then we have the Two of Pentacles coming in. And so this Two of Pentacles can really represent the juggling here of morals, basically, in this case. So this quite often represents someone who's multitasking and caught between, you know, two extremes here, and doing their best to keep going. Like, it could represent someone that is working two jobs to make ends meet, or it could represent, you know, your work life and your home life. It could represent your maybe you go to school plus you're working to pay for school, that kind of energy, having to juggle and be very busy doing it. And multitasking is a very good, you know, it's something that's very valuable, but you have to understand how much, like, and it's saying, like, if it gains magnitude, like the ship is small, the waves and they get bigger and the ship gets bigger. So you can get to the point where you're multitasking so much that you're producing quantity over quality. And then sometimes you have to go back and redo things. And so then that's not going to be beneficial. And so this energy also is talking about, you know, that you juggle your options, but don't ever juggle your morals. And I feel someone definitely has been juggling their morals here. And this energy is starting, like, it's now coming into this karmic, you know, the karma is going to take care of it, basically. This is coming to an end. And then we have the Queen of Swords. And so the Queen of Swords sometimes is considered the coldest queen of all of the four in the minor arcana. But the Queen, it has become this way because she's been there, done that, and bought the t-shirt. She has the souvenir. She's not interested in any more bullshit in her life. She has her back to this energy here, and she's moving forward and saying, I want to receive what I deserve for my hard work here. And her head is above the clouds, showing she has clarity. And she's ready to move forward. And she is not in the mood for bullshit. So she has her sword up in her right hand, ready to use it. And she has her left hand out, showing, I'm willing to receive, but you had better come into me correct. I'm not willing to put up with any bullshit whatsoever. And off with your heads if you should come in bother me with bullshit. This is the energy of the Ten of Cups. And so the Ten of Cups is the ultimate fulfillment in a perfectly imperfect world. So this is the best we can do on the third dimensional. Having, love of where you live and your partner. You have the 2.5 children that you love very much, the all-American dream, basically. This is love where you work, you love your neighbors, you love your clients. Everything is working out as best it can in a perfectly imperfect world. And this is something, though, that you have to work towards. And so this is saying the Queen of Swords, she's willing to have this. This is what she wants to have for her, the work that she's put into things. And she's done the work. She's been collaborating with God to stay on her path and be in a strong position to receive this. And then in comes the Knight of Cups. Yay, there you are, Knight of Cups. So the Knight of Cups is representing communication coming in. And this is the first card of communication we actually have in this reading. So this is talking about the knights would travel far and wide throughout the kingdoms, and they would deliver messages for the royal court. And back in those days, they didn't have any other way of long-distance communication. So this Knight of Cups energy, each of the knights has their own special element that they deliver. And the Knight of Cups would be like the romantic figure you read about in romance novels and see in the movies. This is the knight in shining armor that comes in to save the day with his cup of love. This quite often can represent a proposal of a stronger commitment with someone. This energy generally is romantic love, but it doesn't have to be. It can be with a business partner or a situation that you're in, even with family, whatever. But it's talking about there's an offer coming in that is really going to, it's a true offer of commitment and love. And here we have, it changes the direction of your life. So this is talking about this reality check when it comes in and this energy starts happening. Now, boom, here you are. You're at the 0 point in the cycle has ended, and look at it, sitting right on the Wheel of Fortune here. Awesome energy. So this is talking, you're going to take a leap of faith here, and you're going to have faith in God's plan, even if you don't have faith in yourself after everything you've been through here. And you've decided, okay, God, I'm on my way. I'm going on that path. And this little white dog here represents the energy of someone who is, just moving forward with innocence and has been kind of cleansed of this energy that has been holding them back. And then we have the Magician. So the Magician is the very first card, actually, after the Fool. And this is representing, hey, you have everything that you need on your journey. The Magician has this bench of tools at his disposal, similar to this bench, saying, hey, it's not like you're a baby starting over. You have the tools that you need. You need to choose which tool. Like, you don't, if you know how to use a hammer, it doesn't mean that you don't want to learn how to use the screwdriver. Because if you've ever hammered a screw into the wall, you'll understand how that doesn't work so good. A screwdriver would be much more efficient. And so that's the energy that you have to, you have the tools, you need to learn how to use them to create a beautiful garden for yourself on planet Earth. And there's infinite potential here to the power of infinity and beyond. And we have like this energy of your thoughts and being able to manifest those thoughts and bring them down to earth like magic. And the Hierophant is talking about as above, so below. And he's talking about this juggling of morals, the Wheel of Fortune turning. And because you went and got clarity and looked at it from different perspectives, that's when the Wheel of Fortune started turning. And this information has been brought out about all the conniving behind your back, basically. And that the karma is now coming in, and you are going to be manifesting at a very high level now. We don't see what he's pointing at yet, but we'll see in a moment. We do have the energy here of, this is like, you know, as I said, the basics of what's going on, and this is the obstacles, and now this is having the courage to move forward, and now we're going after the authentic desires. And we have this energy here of, I feel like this is talking in the past when you were in this energy. This is what you learned, is that there's never only two ways of doing anything. This person has a closed mind, and the closed mind represents this energy of, you know, only seeing two solutions, this way or that way, my way or the highway. Quite often that's the case. And we do have a new moon in the background here, and the new moons represent new energy coming in. And so this is saying there's never only one way to do anything. And actually the new moon that we just had on March 18th was in the sign of Pisces. And it was really encouraging an open mind and opening yourself up to the, you know, the intuitive side of yourself. So recognizing, like looking at your dreams and the coincidences that some people call coincidences, and some people call synchronicity. The people that call it coincidence rarely get to manifest from the synchronistic events in the same way that someone that sees them as synchronicity. It's all in how you look at it. And so this is saying there's, to have creative solutions, you need to look at your logic and at your intuition. This person, just from the body language, the way they are sitting, their feet turned outward like this, is representing that it's draining their energy because they're overthinking everything. And they have their arms crossed over their heart, making them, showing that they are protecting their heart. And we have the right arm holding the left arm back here. The right arm represents your logic, and your left arm represents your intuition. Protecting your heart and not being vulnerable and not allowing your intuition to come in so that you can feel with your heart what your authentic desires truly are. No, you have to stay with the logic. And so this is having to close the one thing on the 18th, and I feel like you did do this because now you're in this position now where you're manifesting at a totally different level, is because you allowed your intuition to come in. And that's what that full moon or that new moon on the 18th of March was talking about. Open your mind. An open mind can be like a parachute. It could save your life. And yeah, taking you out of this mental prison. And this is what the magician is pointing to. This energy was causing you to be in this energy right here. And that's the overthinking energy. And also what this represents is an energy of someone who they don't know, they're stuck. They don't know how to move forward. And so the energy of the binding around them can represent that they feel duty bound. So this could be they know what action they have to take. Look, we have 7 wands or 7 wands behind them. And so the 7 wands behind them can be the thoughts of all these people here that put them in this energy, or that they basically allowed themselves to be put in by these people. And this is the thoughts that were going on behind their back. And also you notice that this is separating them from the castle in the background. So it's just saying, what it's saying is it was people close to home, people in their inner circle, people that they loved. And the reason they haven't taken the action that they need to take is because they have love for these people and they don't want these people to suffer, even though these people have done everything in their power to make them suffer. And now they're starting to see this, and they're starting to realize, like, I have to I have to do what I have to do. And so this energy, at one point I feel there was way more water here, but now the water is dissipating, and the water represents emotion. And so it's the right foot is on dry land, and the left foot here is still stuck in a puddle, but it's a shallow puddle. Now that's not saying your emotions are shallow. It's saying there was way more emotions, and you had to go through all the emotions as you started to realize the energy that was being sent your way from the people you love, and recognizing that you can't, the only way you can move forward is to do what you have to do now. And so whatever that is, you know what it is, and so you're going to have to. And then then the Ten of Pentacles comes in. And so the Ten of Pentacles is ultimate fulfillment, just like this is the ultimate fulfillment in love. And what you love, this is ultimate lifestyle. It's raining money, the golden buzzer has been, the confetti is dropping. You have, in your lifestyle, the same thing, like the children, the partner, the neighborhood you want to be in, where you want to be in the location. You have the ability to have pets if you want, and you have time to stop and talk to the neighbor. This card can sometimes just represent a big windfall is coming through. And this is a reward of this Pentacles, is because you stayed on your path, on the path of glory. And so this energy is talking about, yes, you are now because you stayed on your path of glory, on the destined path, and asked for God's empowerment here, you are now moving forward in that way. And here comes the reward from the collaboration between the Most High and the universe. A breath of fresh air. No more of this energy. This is someone. So the pages, really, it's interesting because in this reading, we've only had two communications coming in other than from the spiritual realm. So this is talking about, now the Page of Swords comes through. And the pages would work for the king and queen when they were younger. They would sometimes start around 7 to 14 when they were mature enough. And they would be responsible for communication within the palace walls. And they would quite often come from the surrounding families that had, the money to educate and whatever. And so they would be like apprentices in training. When they were 21, if they were still there, they might be considered to be even put up for knighthood at the age of 21 if they could afford a horse. And so this energy is talking about the page is a younger person under the age of 21. That kind of energy. It doesn't have to be about the age, but it's about that energy. And they have a very sharp mind, basically. And this is saying that they understand that they only have half the information if they're not using their intuition. So this is the only element where they're not focused on their element. And so this Page of Swords knows what the question is. He knows the logical part. He wants to look away from it now and use his intuition to find a creative solution to the problem. And this is about thinking outside the box. This energy is talking about, okay, I'm going to find a creative solution to apply logically to my situation. This card quite often reminds me of someone who's golfing. And golfing is a very mental sport. Like if you have a bad first hole and then you throw your club and you freak out and the game is over basically, and then your game just spirals downward from there. This energy is like if you discipline your mind by the next hole, on the second hole, you could have a hole in one just because you've turned it around. And if you happen to be with a politician or a business person that was thinking about hiring you, they're going to be more impressed by that than when you throw your club. I feel like a lot of people do business on the golf course, not just because it's more pleasant, but because you can tell a lot about someone, whether you want to work with them or not. If you do 18 holes of golf with them, you pretty much have a good idea whether this person is someone that you want to work with or not. And we have the King of Wands coming in. So the King of Wands is considered to be the most sexy of all of the kings. He's the kind of guy you wouldn't kick out of bed for eating crackers. You could forgive him for anything because he's charming and he's innovative, and he he has a lot of passion for life. He loves to move forward. He loves knowledge for the sake of it, basically. Like, always ready to learn something new, and a really good attitude. So someone that is, you know, a go-getter kind of energy, and someone who definitely thinks outside the box. It's interesting because all the royal people, like the royal figures in the face cards of the wands energy, have these tunics that have the salamanders on them, or the with the lion, and this is representing protection from fire. This is because the King of Wands is smoking hot. But the other thing is because sometimes when there's smoke, there's fire. So you have to, one thing about the King of Wands is he tends to, you know, a visionary. He's always looking into the future. So he's kind of like the last king to settle down. And so where there's smoke, sometimes there's fire. But he can also, has a knack for knowing, I smell smoke, there's something going on here. And he's the one that is going to be able to give a fresh view to a situation, to be able to come to a conclusion. So this could be the person that's come in, and the only other queen here would be the Queen of Swords. So she might open her heart up to this energy because she recognizes, okay, this person's not fake. They're actually able to come in straight. And then look at, God sends in that passion so that she realizes, quit being so cold. The snow is melting. In Canada, where I'm from, in the springs, like after a long winter, sometimes winters in the prairies can last like, 3 or 4 months, and you can have layers and layers of snow. And there's some dog owners that they don't clean up after their dogs on a daily basis. They go out there at the end of spring when it all melts, and it is disgusting. And this is reminding me of that energy where the sun, God shines light on what was happening here underneath the layers of snow. And now that it's thawing out and the snow is melting, the sun is melting the snow, everything is exposed. And it is smelly. And everybody from blocks away realizes, man, this stinks. Whatever these people have been up to, and it's exposed publicly. It's that kind of energy. So this has kind of been an interesting reading. Going from the bottom to the top and back down again, we have the Ace of Swords. The truth is coming in, the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. Because the Hierophant is here to bring justice in. You've been left out in the cold and isolated, and there were tactics used to put you there. You were having difficulty seeing your way out, and because part of it was that you realized that people that were in your inner circle that you really cared about were involved in it. And then if you step forward and tell the truth, they are going to be in big trouble kind of energy. And this is talking about, but then the King of Wands comes in and says, that's ridiculous. You have to do what you have to do. Just do it. And then that's when the energy shifts. This breath, the fresh air, is the reward for staying on your destined path and allowing these people to experience what they need to clearly experience from this reality check. And the cup of love comes in, and this is about this ultimate fulfillment now coming in. And it's because you had the strength to look at your shadow side and still stay on your path, and turn to God for the information you needed, and to ask, what do I need to do next, and actually implement that logically in the 3D here. So this is, these people wanted you to feel stuck so that you wouldn't, so that you stay in the old version of yourself. But that's impossible. Like it's evolution. Things are moving forward. And so this energy, when I look here on a physical level, we have the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. So this is what people say in a court of law. We've got the Hierophant, which represents judgment, the tower hitting, so the truth is coming out and exposed. It's melting the snow. There's people that celebrated way too early. They were in competition with you, whether you even realized it or not. They may have been making money illegally through all sorts of different ways. They may belong to a secret society, and you may not even know that. This energy is, where else do we have? Okay, so this can not just be a mental prison, but this can be an actual physical prison. And yeah, the energy is coming through that way. All right, so if that's enough for you and you're like, okay, I got it. This is good. This is a good reading. It's freedom for someone here for sure, and it's karma coming into place to put people back into their order life so that they can start working on their destined journey instead of trying to steal someone else's. This card just came out, which actually puts everybody on a foolhardy journey, even though it could be really challenging. The foolhardy card just flew out, and it's saying that if you're the fool on his journey, you want to make sure that you're not on a foolish journey. If you're on a foolish journey and you have expectations that you can just take from other people what belongs to them, and that it's never going to catch up with you, that's very foolish. Because that's basically saying that you think you're smarter than God, and like that's, you know, good luck with that one. Only God has the big picture, because God's the one that created everything. So there we have it. This is even talking about putting everybody back on a foolhardy journey if they so choose to. It's going to be very difficult, I guess, for some people here to get on that path, but hey, you did it, so they can too. That's the inspiration. So yeah, if you're leaving the reading here at this point, this card wanted to fly out and inform you of that. So do give it a like and comment if you've enjoyed it, if you have received value from it, and consider subscribing to my channel. That would be an honor for me. All right, now for those of you who want clarity, I'm not going to shuffle these anymore because the first card came out. But so the numbers on these cards represent I started working on this oracle, Tales from the Vector, in 2007. And in 2020, I completed the 64th painting. There's some really big paintings, like 3 feet by 4 foot dragon paintings with a lot of detail in them. And they're dragons from the future, from the Intergalactic Federation of Light. There's dragons, dragonflies, crystals. There's all sorts of energy in them. I have a lot of the information written down, and in the past I've used them at my seminars, and I've been to psychic fairs with the cards, but I didn't have all the paintings done. And so now that all the paintings are done, I am getting ready to bring it out, but I want to play with the cards for a while here so that I get a better sense of you may have noticed that sometimes when you put things on paper, it doesn't always turn out the same way when you put it into action in the real world. The numbers on these cards I will list in the order they appear here in the description box below. The information for my website is there, so you can maybe get further clarity in your situation. So we have, yes, the truth. Whoops, sorry. That was me, not the cat. You're being a good girl now. So she's off center right now, my cat. So when she gets like this, it's just the energy of the reading is like, she's just she sees a lot more of the electromagnetic field than a human being does. Cats can see things that people can't. So the Tower is the divorce energy, but this is talking about, there could be a divorce here, but the energy is talking about the worst divorce is from source. And so the Tower hits, and this is confirming that the truth is coming out, and it's going to cause a Tower, and the Hierophant is going to come in, and it's something to do with this. This could be walking away from something you love because of the energy that happened here, and someone that you thought loved you was involved with the competition to bring this shift down to you, degradation. And this is a very interesting thing. There's a woman by the name of Giselle Pellicot from France, and she was in a real wild situation. She was an older woman that her husband had collaborated with others to really violate her in many ways, which I'm not going to talk about here, but it was to degrade her energy. And she had the option of going to court once it was found out, and just not have to face I think there was 70 individuals involved, but I think 52 went to court. And she was given that option to protect her identity so that she wouldn't have to testify and people know who she was. And she absolutely refused and was very brave and said, I'm going to court and I want it to be very public. I don't feel that the shame belongs to me. I believe that the shame belongs to the people that did this to me. What a brave woman, because it was really challenging. And this is talking about taking, it's not shame on you, but shame off you. Sometimes people that use tactics, they'll be like, it was like taking candy from a baby. And they're proud of that. Taking candy from a baby. Well, congratulations, hero. What a feat. Here we have the need to be right. So do you have to be right, or do you want to be happy? And so this can be a karmic space we get into when, oh my God, we have to be very happy here. Or we would rather be right than be happy. So you have to understand, anytime there's this kind of energy happening, everybody has a part in it, everybody. And so this is talking about, you know, are you going to accept the parts that you're responsible for in this? And are you going to say, oh, that person's making a mountain out of a molehill? And if you're the person that this happened to, are you going to remain a victim, or are you going to be brave like Giselle and stand up? And she had all sorts of people cheering for her every day that she didn't even know that cheered for her as she went into court. She was shocked by it. But it was so brave what she was doing that people had a strong appreciation for that. So we have the all-star energy, and this is talking about insight. And so adding your insight, your third eye energy, to your actions, basically, and to your logical mind. And then we have the sign of Aries coming in. So this is talking, what is this sitting on? This is about all the work you put into it and all the work they put into it. So yeah, the Aries energy, we just had a lot happen in the sign of Aries in the astrological effects. And sometimes astrological influences are not that intense, and they don't matter that much in our day-to-day lives. But the end of February and the beginning of March was like incredibly full of that. There's so much there, it would be a reading in itself. So check out those readings on the new moon, full moon, if you want to know more about it. I want to point out that the Aries energy is talking about the sign. I'm not saying an individual that was an Aries did this. I'm talking about the state of being of that sign. What can we learn from it? We all have a little bit of every sign in us. Now, you might be saying, no, it was an Aries that did it. And for you, that could be possibly true. Trust your intuition on that. I just want to make it very clear that I'm not addressing an individual here. I want us to learn from the energy, because we can learn from the experience rather than repeating it. And so the Aries energy, there was a lot of planets, heavy duty planets moved into the sign of Aries, loaded it up. And this has affected a lot of people in a lot of ways. The astrological influences have calmed down a little bit. I do readings also, one for the beginning, the middle, and the end of the month. And those ones talk about how, if there is astrological effects, how they might influence. And I do a reading for each of the signs. So each of those are a different playlist. But the energy, we can learn from it. We don't have to, and you know, we don't have to repeat the same thing. If we take responsibility and learn from it, then we can move forward and be a stronger version of ourselves. We have some Leo energy coming in, and this is about, Leo energy is natural born leaders. And this is talking about, you know, sometimes when people are not mature enough to lead yet, but they feel like, hey, I'm supposed to be a leader. What happens is, think about teenage boys and how impulsive they can be. And you know what their thoughts are really about, how like they're usually not that mature, but sometimes they'll be really arrogant because they don't have the confidence, and so they want to pretend they do. We have the devil energy coming in, and the devil is right here on this other, and we had justice covering the devil energy here. Now it's coming in again in the same place in the reading, and it's talking about the karma. So let's see, what does the devil, and you know, in my oracle, this is a very beautiful dragonfly. She's a hot pink background, adorned in Swarovski crystals, very, very pretty, lacy. So, you know, the devil's not going to tempt you with something ugly. The devil's going to tempt you with something beautiful that you desire. So what is the energy that comes in after that? Is the guiding star energy. This is again saying that because you went to God and you went after your authentic desires instead of the, the temptation, basically, that using your intuition got you out of the situation. So that's, then we have dissension. With friends like this, who needs enemies? You were swimming with sharks, and this is talking about this energy down here. This was a bunch of people collaborating, because look at all the pentacles here. If ever you're wondering, well, how is it possible that the people I love would do this? Follow the money. Some people will do anything for money, and I do mean anything. And so this is talking about surrender. So this is saying also that on this journey, you can surrender to God's path when you're the fool on your journey. And if you surrender to God's path, then you're going to be in a better position than if you just guess. Like if you don't know what to do, why not ask God what to do, seeing that He has the big picture, basically that energy. And then we have indifference. Yes, we're all in it together, a work in progress, except then you find out that there was a lot of people that were indifferent to the suffering that you were going through because of it sitting on this money, that kind of energy. And then we have the Aquarius coming in. So yeah, this is really interesting energy. Aquarius energy is, about your intellect and about experimentation, and then seeing what works and what doesn't, basically. And so this is about being like observing your life and like, okay, when I did that, this didn't, I'm not going to repeat that. That didn't work out so good. But when I did it this way, hey, I got results. So I'm going to double up on that. So it's talking about using that Aquarius energy to be curious and look at, is there a better way maybe of doing what you're doing that could be a little bit more valuable for you. And then we have the energy of Virgo, which is talking about communication. And so Mercury rules Virgo, and Virgo is, if you ever want something analyzed, they are the person to go to. Virgo energy is very much about analytical critique and really being able to see if something's out. They'll be able to tell you. Virgo minds work like that. They want order in the life. And we just had the new moon that was just on the 18th the full moon on March 3rd was in Virgo. And so at the beginning of March, and that was about getting your ducks in order so that your home environment your physical environment in your domestic life would support your business, and so you'd be able to make the pentacles and having things in order. Virgo is basically cleanliness is next to godliness, that kind of energy. And then the Libra energy is representing, we have the Libra moon coming up here on April 1st. And so this energy, the Libra moon, is definitely about, it's really been focused on your significant other relationships and about being in this energy right now. We're starting to feel it. The Libra energy is I want to compromise, I want our relationship to work out, but it is at the same time, opposite of the Libra energy on the horoscope wheel is the Aries energy. And as I said, Aries is full of new heavy-hitting planet energy right now. And Aries is saying, I want to assert myself. So here's the energy that we're in right now. If you've been feeling that, don't be impulsive. Don't get let your temper get it the best of you. This energy is very challenging. But you can, your best case scenario is to stay calm and act like a mature adult. And then you can anticipate the future instead of being disappointed because you had expectations. Expectations will always create limitations. All right, that's the end of this reading. I do hope you've enjoyed it. Give it a like and comment. Please, if you have, it does help me build my channel. And consider subscribing. I would be honored if you did so. I'll be back with another daily reading for you again tomorrow. Bye for now.